Imagine waking up tomorrow morning, opening your banking app, and seeing enough money to comfortably pay every bill due this month. Your rent is covered. Your mortgage is covered. The groceries, the insurance, the car payment, everything. By almost every definition, you're doing well. So why does it still feel like you can't stop? Why does taking a month off feel impossible? Why does changing careers feel risky? Why does the thought of losing your job create an immediate sense of panic? For millions of people, this isn't a lack of income. It's a lack of freedom. Some of the highest paid professionals in the world wake up every morning feeling trapped. Doctors, lawyers, engineers, corporate executives, business owners. From the outside, their lives appear successful. Beautiful homes, luxury cars, exotic vacations, carefully curated lives that seem to prove they've made it. Yet beneath that image, many are living with a quiet fear. Not the fear of being poor, the fear of stopping. Because the lifestyle they've built depends on one thing continuing without interruption: the next paycheck. We've been taught that earning more money is the path to financial freedom. Work harder, get promoted, increase your income, repeat, and eventually you'll be free. But what if that equation is incomplete? What if earning more doesn't automatically make you freer? What if it simply makes your prison more comfortable? This is one of the greatest paradoxes of modern wealth. People spend decades increasing their income, only to discover they've also increased their dependence. The bigger the paycheck becomes, the more expensive life quietly becomes alongside it. Freedom doesn't arrive. It moves farther away. Not because they made reckless decisions, but because almost everything around them encouraged the same pattern. A larger house, a nicer neighborhood, a newer car, more subscriptions, better schools, more convenience. Each decision feels reasonable, even deserved. But together, they create an invisible system of obligations that quietly demands tomorrow's income before tomorrow even arrives. And that's the real mystery. How can someone earning more than enough still feel financially trapped? The answer has very little to do with mathematics. It has everything to do with how we've been taught to think about money. In this documentary, we'll explore why financial freedom feels so difficult to achieve, even for people who earn excellent incomes. We'll uncover the hidden traps that quietly steal time, why raises often create less freedom instead of more, why ownership changes everything, and why true financial independence begins years before you ever leave your job. Because financial freedom isn't about escaping work. It's about reaching the point where work becomes a choice, not a necessity. And to understand why that feels so difficult, we first need to examine the invisible system that almost everyone trusts: the paycheck. Imagine a bridge suspended high above a canyon. It looks solid, strong, reliable. Every morning, thousands of people walk across it without a second thought. They trust it completely. But there's one hidden problem. The bridge is supported by only one cable. As long as that cable holds, everything feels safe. But if it snaps, the entire structure is suddenly at risk. For millions of people, that single cable is their paycheck. It doesn't matter whether they earn $50,000 a year or $500,000. If nearly every financial obligation depends on one source of income, their financial life is far more fragile than it appears. This is what we call the paycheck trap. It's one of the most common financial prisons in the modern world. And the most dangerous part is that it rarely feels like a trap. After all, getting paid every month feels secure. The money arrives. The bills are paid. Life moves forward. The routine becomes familiar, comfortable, predictable, until something interrupts it. A company restructures, an unexpected illness, an economic downer, a changing industry, or simply burnout. Suddenly, the income that once felt permanent reveals itself for what it always was: temporary. Yet many people spend decades building lives that assume it will never stop. Imagine two professionals, Sarah and Michael. Both are successful. Both earn excellent salaries. Both have worked hard to reach where they are. From the outside, their lives look nearly identical. Beautiful homes, reliable vehicles, family vacations, healthy retirement accounts. Friends describe them as financially successful. But beneath the surface, their financial lives couldn't be more different. Every dollar Sarah earns immediately has a destination. The mortgage, car payments, private school tuition, insurance, subscriptions, dining out, weekend trips. Everything fits neatly within her monthly income. She's organized, responsible, disciplined. Yet if her paycheck disappeared for 6 months, her entire lifestyle would begin collapsing. Not because she made reckless decisions, but because every improvement in her life quietly increased her dependence on the next paycheck. Now, look at Michael. He also enjoys a comfortable lifestyle. But years ago, he began asking a different question. What happens if my paycheck stops? That single question changed everything. Instead of allowing every raise to increase his monthly expenses, he directed part of each increase toward ownership. He invested consistently, built an emergency reserve, purchased productive assets, created additional streams of income. Nothing happened overnight. For years, the progress seemed almost invisible. But eventually, something remarkable began to change. His investments started producing income. His savings created security. His assets slowly reduced his dependence on earned income. Today, both still go to work, but only one has options. This is the hidden difference between earning well and becoming financially resilient. The paycheck itself isn't the problem. Dependence is. There's nothing wrong with employment. For most people, it's the foundation of wealth building. The danger comes when employment becomes the only pillar supporting your financial life. Imagine trying to build a house on a single column. It may stand for a while, but it's vulnerable to every unexpected storm. Real financial stability comes from multiple supports: savings, investments, cash flow, ownership. Each one reduces pressure on the others. The wealthy understand this instinctively. They don't simply ask, "How can I earn more?" They ask, "How can I depend less on earning?" Those questions sound similar, but they lead to completely different lives. One person spends every year increasing income. The other spends every year increasing independence. At first, their progress looks almost identical. Both receive promotions. Both celebrate milestones. Both appear successful. But time quietly begins separating them. One becomes more valuable to their employer. The other becomes less dependent on having one. That's a profound difference. Because true financial freedom isn't measured by the size of your paycheck. It's measured by how long your life continues functioning without it. This is why many people earning 6 figures still feel trapped. Their income is high. Their dependence is even higher. Every month begins with financial obligations already waiting. The paycheck doesn't create freedom. It simply keeps the system running. And without realizing it, many people spend their entire careers strengthening the very system they hope will eventually set them free. But if dependence on a paycheck keeps people trapped, what happens when that paycheck gets bigger? Most people assume life becomes easier. In reality, something much more subtle begins to happen. Every raise quietly creates new expectations, new expenses, and new obligations. Instead of buying freedom, higher income often buys a more expensive version of the same prison. That's where our story goes next. Because one of the greatest enemies of financial freedom isn't low income. It's something psychologists call lifestyle inflation. Imagine climbing a mountain. With every step upward, the view becomes more impressive. The air feels cleaner. You feel successful. But something unexpected begins happening. The higher you climb, the heavier your backpack becomes. At first, you barely notice. One extra item, then another. Eventually, the weight begins slowing every step. This is exactly how lifestyle inflation works. The more money people earn, the more expensive life quietly becomes. Not because they're irresponsible, but because success has a habit of raising expectations. Imagine receiving your first major promotion. After years of hard work, your salary finally increases. It feels like the breakthrough you've been waiting for. You promise yourself this raise will change everything. You'll finally get ahead, finally feel secure, finally experience financial freedom. But within months, something curious begins to happen. The apartment that once felt spacious suddenly feels too small. The reliable car now feels outdated. The neighborhood you've lived in for years no longer seems to match your success. Restaurants become nicer. Vacations become more luxurious. Subscriptions multiply. Convenience becomes a necessity instead of a luxury. Nothing changes overnight. Each decision feels reasonable on its own. After all, you've earned it. And that's exactly why lifestyle inflation is so difficult to recognize. It rarely feels reckless. It feels deserved. Behavioral economists have spent decades studying this phenomenon. They discovered something fascinating. Human beings don't adapt only to hardship. We also adapt remarkably quickly to improvement. Psychologists call this hedonic adaptation. What once felt extraordinary soon becomes normal. Think back to your first smartphone. The excitement, the anticipation, the feeling that life had somehow improved. A few months later, it was just your phone. The same pattern appears with almost everything. A bigger house, a luxury car, a designer wardrobe, a prestigious job title. Each creates a temporary emotional high, but eventually, your brain resets. Yesterday's luxury becomes today's expectation. And once expectations change, the search for the next upgrade quietly begins. This is why income alone rarely creates lasting satisfaction. The finish line keeps moving. Imagine standing on a treadmill. Every time you begin catching up, the speed increases. You aren't standing still. You're running harder than ever. Yet the destination never gets any closer. That is the financial treadmill. The higher your income rises, the faster your lifestyle often expands alongside it, which means your financial obligations grow at nearly the same pace. A larger home creates a larger mortgage. A luxury vehicle creates higher insurance. Premium experiences become regular habits. Children enter more expensive schools. Social circles begin expecting a certain standard of living. Before long, the raise that once felt life-changing has quietly disappeared into the cost of maintaining a more expensive life. This is why two people earning the exact same salary can experience completely different levels of financial freedom. One treats every raise as permission to spend more. The other treats every raise as an opportunity to own more. The difference seems almost invisible in the beginning. A slightly smaller house, a car kept for a few extra years, vacations chosen with intention instead of impulse. Friends may even wonder why the second person isn't living better. What they don't see is what's happening behind the scenes. Every dollar not consumed is quietly being recruited for another job, buying ownership, building investments, reducing future dependence. Freedom is being built long before anyone can recognize it. This is one of the greatest ironies of wealth. The people who appear richest aren't always becoming wealthier. Sometimes they're simply becoming more expensive to maintain. Meanwhile, the individuals quietly building financial freedom often look surprisingly ordinary. Their cars don't attract attention. Their homes aren't designed to impress strangers. Their lifestyles rarely become social media highlights because they're investing in something the world can't immediately see. Future options, future flexibility, future peace of mind. And perhaps that's the greatest difference between consumers and wealth builders. Consumers often use higher income to upgrade their lifestyle. Owners use higher income to upgrade their future. Neither choice feels dramatic. In fact, the owner often feels like they're sacrificing, watching friends enjoy bigger purchases, newer cars, more luxurious vacations. It's tempting to believe they're missing out, but they're making a trade, a temporary sacrifice, for permanent flexibility. Years later, that decision begins paying dividends far beyond money. The ability to reduce working hours, the confidence to change careers, the freedom to start a business, the security to weather unexpected setbacks without panic. That's what disciplined financial decisions quietly purchase. Not status, not applause, but choices, which raises an uncomfortable question. If earning more money doesn't automatically create more freedom, then why do so many successful people still feel like they never have enough? The answer isn't hiding in their bank accounts. It's hiding in something even more valuable: their time. Because the greatest illusion in modern work isn't that money buys happiness. It's that trading more time for more money will eventually set you free. And that's the illusion we'll uncover next. Imagine walking into a bank. Instead of depositing money, you deposit hours. Every morning, you hand over 8, 10, sometimes 12 hours of your life. At the end of the day, the bank pays you back in dollars. For most people, this exchange feels completely normal. In fact, it's how nearly all of us begin our financial journey. We learn valuable skills. Find a good job, work hard, earn more, repeat. There's nothing wrong with this model. It has lifted millions of people out of poverty and created opportunities previous generations could only dream of. But hidden inside that system is a quiet assumption. If you keep exchanging more time, you'll eventually become free. That assumption deserves a closer look, because time and money don't obey the same rules. Money can be earned again. Time cannot. Every hour you spend today disappears forever. Yet many people unknowingly spend decades treating time as though it's infinitely renewable. Imagine two professionals. Both earn $200,000 a year. From the outside, they seem equally successful. One is a senior corporate executive. The other owns several income-producing assets. Ask both of them to stop working for 6 months. The executive hesitates. Meetings continue. Deadlines remain. Clients expect answers. Projects can't wait. The income is impressive, but it's inseparable from constant effort. Now ask the owner. Their investments continue producing dividends. Their rental properties continue collecting rent. Their businesses continue serving customers. Not because they stopped working entirely, but because they spent years building systems that no longer depend exclusively on their daily presence. That's the difference between earning income and creating independence. Many high-income professionals eventually discover something unexpected. The higher they climb, the more their success depends on them personally. More responsibility, more decisions, more pressure, more people relying on them. Ironically, the reward for becoming exceptionally valuable is often becoming increasingly difficult to replace. Economists sometimes describe this as trading scarce resources. You're exchanging the most limited resource you'll ever possess, your time, for something that can always be earned again. At first, the exchange makes perfect sense, especially early in your career. Skills create opportunities. Experience increases income. Hard work builds momentum. But eventually, a different question begins to matter. Will your income continue growing only if your hours continue growing too? If the answer is yes, you've increased your earning power, but not necessarily your freedom. This is where many people encounter what are often called golden handcuffs. The salary is excellent. The bonuses are generous. The lifestyle is comfortable. Walking away seems impossible, not because they dislike the work, but because too many financial commitments now depend on keeping it. The house, the school fees, the car payments, the vacations, the expectations. Every obligation quietly strengthens the connection between income and time. Without realizing it, success can become another form of dependence. This is why some people earning extraordinary incomes still feel trapped. They don't own their schedule. Their schedule owns them. One urgent email interrupts dinner. Another meeting replaces family time. Weekends become opportunities to catch up. Vacations become moments to answer messages instead of disconnecting. Gradually, life begins revolving around maintaining income, rather than enjoying the life that income was meant to create. This isn't a criticism of ambition. Ambition builds remarkable things. The problem arises when ambition is never given an exit strategy, when earning becomes the destination instead of the vehicle. Financial freedom was never meant to eliminate meaningful work. It was meant to give you the ability to choose it. There's a profound difference between saying, "I have to work," and saying, "I choose to work." The activity may look identical, but psychologically, they're worlds apart. Choice transforms obligation into purpose. That's why the wealthiest asset you will ever own isn't your house, your investment account, or your business. It's your ability to control your time. Because every meaningful moment in life depends on it. Time with your children, Time to care for aging parents. Time to pursue an idea. Time to travel. Time to learn. Time to simply slow down. Money can enhance those experiences, but only time allows you to live them. The irony is almost impossible to ignore. People often sacrifice today's time, hoping tomorrow's money will eventually buy it back. Sometimes it does. Sometimes they wait too long, which raises one final question. If financial freedom isn't about earning the biggest paycheck, then what is it actually built on? The answer isn't found in working more hours. It's found in gradually reducing the number of hours your life depends on. And that's where the true formula for financial freedom begins. Not with earning more, but with learning how to buy back your time. Imagine two people standing on opposite sides of a river. Both want to reach the same destination, freedom. The first person decides to swim. Every day, they fight the current. Every day, they move forward. But the moment they stop swimming, the current begins pulling them backward. The second person chooses a different approach. Instead of fighting the river forever, they begin building a bridge. It takes longer. It's slower. There are days when it feels like no progress is being made. But eventually, the bridge supports them, then everyone they care about. Financial freedom works much the same way. Most people spend their lives swimming. A paycheck arrives. Bills are paid. Life moves forward. Another paycheck arrives. The cycle repeats. As long as they keep swimming, everything works. But if they ever stop, the current takes over. The freedom formula is about building the bridge instead. Not escaping work overnight. Not becoming rich overnight. Not finding a magical investment. Simply replacing dependence. One piece at a time. Many people believe financial freedom begins when they earn enough money. History suggests something different. It begins when your assets start carrying part of the financial load. Imagine your monthly living expenses are $5,000. Today, your paycheck covers all of it. Tomorrow, your investments produce $200. It's a small amount, almost insignificant. You're still working, still earning, still paying the bills. But something fundamental has changed. For the first time, not every dollar keeping your life running came from your own labor. A tiny piece came from ownership. A month later, your investments generate $300. A year later, $500, then $1,000. The numbers matter, but the psychology matters even more. Each dollar produced by an asset is one less dollar that must be earned through your time. That's the freedom formula. Not replacing your income all at once, but gradually reducing the amount of your life that depends on it. Think of every productive asset as hiring another employee, a dividend-paying investment, a rental property, a business, royalties from intellectual property. Each one begins working quietly in the background. They don't replace you overnight. They simply reduce the burden you carry. Over time, those invisible workers become a team, then a system, eventually, a foundation. This is why wealthy individuals often think differently about money. Most people ask, how much can I earn this year? Owners ask, how much income can my assets produce this year? Those questions seem similar, but one focuses on effort. The other focuses on leverage. Leverage is one of the most misunderstood ideas in wealth building. Many people associate it with borrowing money, but true financial leverage is much broader. It's creating results that no longer depend entirely on your direct effort. A teacher writes a book. Years later, it continues generating royalties. A software developer creates an application. People download it while they sleep. An investor owns part of a successful business. Customers around the world continue creating value for that company every day. The owner benefits without personally serving every customer. This doesn't mean the work disappears. Someone still creates, builds, leads, improves. But the relationship between time and income begins to change. Instead of starting from zero every morning, yesterday's work continues contributing to tomorrow's results. That is one of the most powerful shifts in wealth psychology. Money stops behaving like a reward. It begins behaving like a tool that purchases ownership, a tool that creates future cash flow, a tool that gradually buys back your time. This is why compounding is so extraordinary. People often think compound growth is only about mathematics. Interest earning interest. Dividends buying more shares. Returns producing even greater returns. But compounding transforms more than money. It compounds confidence, options, security. Every productive asset increases your ability to make future decisions without fear. One investment creates another opportunity. One stream of cash flow funds the next. 1 year of discipline makes the following year easier. Momentum quietly takes over. Eventually, you notice something remarkable. You're no longer making financial decisions from a place of survival. You're making them from a place of choice. And that's the true purpose of wealth. Not collecting the biggest number, not impressing strangers, not proving you succeeded, but creating enough ownership that your future becomes increasingly shaped by your decisions, instead of your obligations. Financial freedom doesn't arrive in one dramatic moment. It arrives gradually. One asset, one investment, one disciplined decision at a time. Which raises an important question. If the formula is this simple, why don't more people follow it? Because knowing the path isn't the same as walking it. The final step isn't understanding the formula. It's building a life capable of sustaining it. And that's exactly where our journey leads next. Because financial freedom isn't created by one brilliant decision. It's created by hundreds of ordinary ones. Imagine you're standing in the middle of a dense forest. Every direction looks the same. You've been walking for hours. The deeper you go, the more convinced you become that there's no way out. Then someone points to a narrow path. It isn't dramatic. It doesn't promise a shortcut. It simply leads one step at a time toward open ground. Financial freedom feels much the same. Many people believe escaping the paycheck trap requires extraordinary income, a perfect investment, or a lucky break. In reality, it usually begins with something much smaller. A decision. Not a decision to become rich overnight. A decision to become a little less dependent than you were yesterday. That's how every escape plan begins. Quietly. The first step isn't replacing your paycheck. It's creating breathing room, an emergency fund, a small investment account, paying down high-interest debt, a budget that reflects your priorities instead of your impulses. These decisions rarely attract attention. Nobody congratulates you for building financial stability. But stability is where freedom begins. Once that foundation exists, the next step is ownership. Not ownership for status. Ownership for cash flow. Every month, ask yourself one simple question. Can I convert part of today's income into tomorrow's income? Sometimes the answer is an investment. Sometimes it's learning a valuable skill. Sometimes it's starting a small business. Sometimes it's buying a productive asset. The form matters less than the principle. Each decision should reduce your future dependence, not increase it. Imagine planting a single tree. For months, almost nothing changes. Then another tree, then another. Years later, you no longer have a single tree. You have an orchard. Each season, the orchard produces fruit whether you're standing beside it or not. Assets behave the same way. One investment may seem insignificant. One dividend payment feels almost meaningless. One rental property won't create financial freedom overnight. But consistency transforms small beginnings into powerful systems. This is where many people lose patience. They expect dramatic progress. Instead, they experience quiet progress. The portfolio grows slowly. The debt shrinks gradually. Cash flow increases almost invisibly. Compared to the excitement of buying something new, the process can feel almost boring. And that's exactly why it works. Real wealth rarely feels exciting while it's being built. It feels repetitive, intentional, disciplined. The excitement usually comes years later, when those ordinary decisions begin producing extraordinary results. Another important shift begins to happen. Your relationship with money changes. Instead of asking, "Can I afford this?" you begin asking, "What will this decision cost my future?" Every purchase becomes a trade-off. Every dollar receives a purpose, not because you're afraid to spend, but because you've learned that money can do far more than buy products. It can buy options. It can buy security. It can buy time. Slowly, you stop measuring progress by the size of your paycheck. You start measuring it by the strength of your independence. Can your investments cover one bill? Then two? Then half your monthly expenses? Then all of them? Each milestone isn't just financial progress. It's another piece of your life no longer controlled by necessity. Eventually, something remarkable happens. You stop feeling trapped, not because you've retired, not because you've become extraordinarily wealthy, but because you finally have choices. You can negotiate from confidence instead of fear. You can walk away from unhealthy opportunities. You can pursue work because it matters, not simply because it pays. That's the real escape plan. Not escaping work, escaping dependence. And perhaps that's the most important distinction in this entire documentary. Financial freedom isn't built through one life-changing decision. It's built through hundreds of ordinary decisions repeated with extraordinary consistency. Which brings us to the final lesson. Because after everything we've explored, there's one truth that ties it all together. Financial freedom doesn't begin the day you quit your job. It begins the day your financial decisions start creating a future that's larger than your paycheck. Imagine watching two people leave the same office building. They arrive at the same parking lot, drive similar cars, earn similar incomes. To everyone around them, their lives look almost identical. But beneath the surface, they're traveling toward two very different futures. One is working to maintain their lifestyle. The other is quietly building the freedom to choose it. That's the invisible difference we've explored throughout this documentary. Financial freedom isn't reserved for people who earn extraordinary incomes. It isn't a reward for luck, and it isn't a destination that suddenly appears after one perfect investment. It's something much quieter, much slower, and far more intentional. It begins the moment you stop asking, "How much money can I make?" and start asking, "How much freedom can my money create?" Because every financial decision casts a vote, not just for the life you're living today, but for the life you'll wake up to years from now. Every unnecessary liability makes tomorrow a little more dependent. Every productive asset makes tomorrow a little more independent. Every dollar spent without intention quietly disappears. Every dollar invested with purpose begins working toward a future version of you. Most people imagine financial freedom as a finish line, a magical day when work becomes optional, bills disappear, and life finally begins. But that's not how freedom is built. Freedom isn't one decision. It's thousands of them. The investment you made instead of the impulse purchase. The raise you invested before upgrading your lifestyle. The weekend you spent learning a new skill instead of chasing another distraction. The business you started. The debt you refused to carry. The asset you bought that quietly kept working long after you stopped thinking about it. None of those moments feel life-changing when they happen. In fact, they often feel ordinary, almost forgettable. But wealth has always been built that way. Quietly, patiently, one decision at a time. Years later, people may look at someone's financial freedom and call it luck. They'll admire the result, but they'll never see the thousands of invisible decisions that created it. The mornings they invested instead of spending. The years they stayed consistent while progress seemed slow. The temptations they resisted. The habits they repeated. Real wealth rarely announces itself. It grows beneath the surface, just like the roots of a tree, long before anyone notices the branches. And perhaps that's the greatest lesson of all. Financial freedom isn't about escaping work. Meaningful work gives life purpose. Financial freedom is about removing fear. The fear of one missed paycheck. The fear of saying no. The fear of being trapped in a life you've outgrown. Because when money stops controlling your decisions, your values finally can. You begin choosing work because it matters. Time because it's precious. Relationships because they're irreplaceable. Life because it's yours. So the next time you're about to make a financial decision, pause for just a moment. Don't ask, "Can I afford this?" Ask a better question. Will this purchase move me closer to freedom or farther away from it? Because that single question, repeated hundreds of times over the years, may shape your future more than any paycheck ever will. Thank you for watching The Wealth Lab. If this documentary changed the way you think about money, we'd love to hear from you. In the comments, tell us this. What's one financial habit you're going to change after watching this video? Your answer might inspire someone else to take their first step toward financial freedom. If you enjoyed this documentary, subscribe for more deep dives into wealth psychology, behavioral finance, investing, and the hidden principles that shape lasting wealth. Because in our next documentary, we'll explore a question that challenges one of the oldest beliefs about success: why building wealth has almost nothing to do with your income. Until then, remember this: a paycheck can support your life. Ownership can strengthen your future. But it's the decisions you make every single day that determine whether money becomes a tool or a prison.